Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cast. Another game of TA Escalation. This time, I'm bringing you a 5v5 on a map called Once Upon a Bully. So this is Bully's recreation of Once Upon a Time. And I don't think he's in this particular game, but he's definitely here in spirit. This is his kind of massive TRP style lane map, and these are always designed for the massive 5v5 games that reach T3 and T4. Now, I have been sent this replay and told that it is going to be absolutely amazing. And so, given that I was told it was going to be amazing, we're just going to assume it is amazing, and we're just going to manifest that into existence. So, strap yourselves in. You know, get your tea and crumpets, your popcorn, your pizza, your alcohol, whatever it is that you use to relax, and just sit back, watch this action unfold in the TA Escalation madness and mayhem that is no doubt about to grace our ever-loving presence. So let me go ahead and introduce the teams before we get too much further into the game. We got Mr. Walker here in the bottom left, the Corps Commander starting vehicles. Here in dark green is Perfect Dark. Here in red we have Albert the Eighth. In blue we have Mr. Robbo, Mr. T. Robbo. And finally for the southern team we have Goalie. Traditional TRP style player right there, if there ever was one. So that's a pretty strong lineup here on the South team, and I definitely am looking forward to see what they have in store for us. But before we talk more about them, let's introduce the Northern team. Here in light blue, we have Mr. Control D Horg. I guess that's how you pronounce it. In brown, we have this is Die Hat. He's not showing up. It's a 5v5 bug. But anyway, that's Die Hat, and he is our resident Chinese player, and he is very good, especially in these big team games. In yellow, we have Mr. Easy Rider. In light green, we have MZ. And finally, in orange, we have Jammin'. Now, guys, I don't... some of these are probably Smurfs. People in this community like to change their names a lot, and so I apologize if this is actually, some of these players are just using alts or nicknames or whatever. I only know the players that are using a name that's normal, so like, Gully obviously is pretty famous. Perfect Dark here, and of course Walker. So some of these players I know, some of these players probably using alts, and I do apologize, but yeah, if you want the community to know who you are, you gotta stick to a name. That's all I'm gonna say as a caster. Either way, I'm sure we've got plenty of skill on both teams, and we have a rather epic game that will be on our hands. Interestingly, nobody's starting air first. I would sort of expect that on a map like this, that somebody might go air to start things off. But then again, I guess the distances between the bases are sort of big, and there's no lava like hell on earth that would be great for aircraft to fly over. But Mr. Easy Rider is going aircraft plant second, and so is he the first player to go air in this game? He might be. Like I said, I don't see it anywhere else. So. Yeah, let's see what Yellow wants to do with his air. There's been a little bit of skirmishing back and forth. There's been a tiny bit of combat happening, but thus far, neither team really committing, I would say, much into the T1 pushes. They're mostly just feeling each other out a little bit here and there with some scouts, some AKs and peewees and flashes and things of that nature. So I would expect that this game is going to go the distance. I wouldn't expect that it's going to end anytime within the near future. So right now, like I said, the team's just sort of feeling each other out, sort of looking for some intel, trying to figure out what their opponents are doing. And having said that, yellow with the first bomber, I did mention he's built this aircraft plant. So let's see what he can do with this. One bomber is not typically much of a threat, especially on a huge map like this. But we have seen players with the God Micro, people like EXE, that can absolutely win games with a single early bomber. So we'll have to see how Mr. Easy Rider wants to impress us or show us his stuff. I'd really like to see this bomber getting something accomplished, anything really accomplished. He's going straight for Red's mexes. He's got 2 so far, but there are missile towers in the area. Oh my goodness, he's gotten at least 5, 6 metal extractors already, and this thunder definitely being a nuisance. So certainly harming Albert's economy. That won't be the end of the world, obviously, but it's going to put Albert a little bit back. It's at the very least, it was a good maneuver. I think probably worth the cost of that bomber to take out all the mexes, even though Red will rebuild them very quickly, and the long-term damage is somewhat minimal. As you can see, he does only have 16 to, it's now 18 metal per second, so he's making about half as much metal as everyone else. So it did hurt him, but he will rebuild all of this pretty quickly. Easy Rider going for yet another attempt, but the Southern team having none of that. They're not going to let Yellow simply bomb their economies into oblivion, and that's most likely going to be that. So, yeah, interesting, like I said, very interesting bombing runs there by Yellow, but ultimately, like I said, not super game-changing in the long term, just more annoying than anything. Purple attempting to break through here with some AKs, but it doesn't feel like much is getting accomplished. So guys, let me tell you a little bit more about this map. I've definitely cast on this map before, and you know, it's always the same. Obviously you have this massive open area in the middle, and that's where a lot of the engagements do occur. But here, on the left and the right side of the map are these massive plateaus, and these have a lot of metal spots to claim. You know, this is a pretty lucrative feature of the map, and so typically both teams are going to fight over these plateaus. And whichever team holds both plateaus has a huge advantage, just because of not just the amount of extra resources, but then they can build on the plateaus. They can build, you know, turrets and guardians and things of that nature. You know, they can rain down from this ridge, like Pink is doing here with these vandals. So not only do these ridges, or these plateaus, give you a lot of resources, they also give you a nice positional advantage over your opponent, letting you cut off this whole area of the map if you build a lot of defenses. And then, like I said, you can artillery your opponent to death from the top of the ridge, even bringing out things like Big Berthas and Intimidators and things of that nature, which will certainly give your team a nice advantage. Blue getting a single flash back into Light Green's base, and man, that flash looks like a hero. All this metal has been taken out, so Yellow is super behind now. Even though, yeah, his economy's fluctuating, but he's got less metal than almost anyone except for Green. The Southern team is definitely getting a little bit more done. Blue, especially with these flash raids has officially taken out so many mexes. So the northern team is definitely going to be a little behind now. And you can see the southern team is already posturing to take these plateaus, which, as I mentioned, is extremely important to developing a foothold on this map and giving your team a massive economic boost. So the southern team definitely in control of the eastern one, but the northern team is now attempting to grab the western one. Of course, like, we'll see how long they can hold it. They have only a tenuous grasp. They just have a couple of cons up here and some manticores where the southern team has built light laser towers, and they've got quite a few thuds. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Like I said, it's important to hold those plateaus. It's very important to make sure that you give your team every advantage they can. But now Gully with a Panther push, an 11-minute Panther push. These are very strong raiding units, but they don't do that well in combat, and it seems like the southern team will kind of catch this off guard, or they'll the southern team will sort of respond to this in a way that's not super effective. Unfortunately, these Panthers are breaking through. I don't know why they're not firing. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it was weird. Maybe he didn't have shoot all on or whatever. But either way, the Panthers are now shooting at the buildings. And this is a very effective raid by Brown. A great timing attack. He, uh-oh, the game got paused yet. Great timing attack. He catches the southern team off guard. And I might have to press the panic button if the game keeps pausing. Guys, the problem is if I type in panic to stop those messages, the eco scoreboard will disappear. That is a feature of the recorder that I'm trying to keep on, so bear with me. We might have to deal with a few pauses here and there. But ultimately, I think having the eco available is probably worth it, unless it becomes too annoying. But like I said, I do think the game's pretty close, but the southern team might have a slight advantage. They've started securing this eastern plateau much more than the northern team is securing their plateau. It is quite a huge difference between these two teams. But the northern team has still been doing a good job. Oh my god, yellow with the brawler attack. Oh no, Walker being targeted. Oh no, his commander is getting low, but you know what? Walker was pretty ready for this. Walker, I think, he's been brawler cheesed so many times in his life that he's not so ready to let that kill him that easily. And it looked like there was a flak as well. I don't know where this flak is. I definitely saw one, but either way, Walker does have enough defenders to survive. And because of that, the game will go on. His commander gets to about half health. But nice job by him, being prepared for that, not letting yellow take him out of the game. And unfortunately, that's going to put yellow pretty far behind now, because he just spent a massive investment into those brawlers that essentially did nothing. Here was the flak probably. He just had a copperhead and mobile flak vehicle, so with the copperhead and with the defenders and with the nano blocking, it was more than enough to keep him alive. Alright, we're just going to have to... Oops. Just going to have to kill the recorder here, because that's too obstruction, or too disruptive. So anyway, I like what Orange is doing here. He is raining down plasma shells onto the East Plateau here. And that is very intentional. He is definitely trying to give purple a run for his money. He doesn't want to let purple just have this plateau for free, so he's going to try to make it more difficult. And he's done a decent job. I mean, half this plateau effectively has been denied by that Guardian. Now working on a second one as well. Yellow's still in the air, so committing to that game plan, but he's going to have to make better decisions than that. Those brawlers just, like I said, pretty much went to waste. They got Walker's commander to about half health, but otherwise you can just heal, and big investment that achieved very little. But now targeting this satellite base on the eastern plateau, and there's a little bit of air defense. Is there enough air defense? We've got some missile trucks being added into the engagement, and with that it will force Yellow to retreat, and unfortunately it's going to cause the game to continue in a very similar fashion. But now we have Perfect Dark with his patented Maverick Fido Spider composition, so let's see how that works out. He's going to attempt to take out this left plateau, and to be honest, it's not that well defended. There's just not much here. This will prompt Yellow to come back in with his brawlers, and Die Hat to come in with all of these early Panthers. So overall, I think it's still a nice job. He takes out a lot of mexes. It causes quite a bit of damage to the economy of Mr. Light Blue, but nothing too permanent. There was no mohos here to speak of. Those would have been much bigger investment. So he's still just on T1 mexes. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, so a pink. He's got some of his own long-range gameplay. Orange was using the Guardians, and now Pink is using the Diplomats. So both teams not content to just let their opponents sit on these plateaus and do whatever they want. There will definitely be consequences to this behavior. And but still, the game is really even. Let me check out the player bases. Light Blue, almost as I say that, now heading to T3. You know, up to this point, Die Hat has just been building Panthers, but now going into Bulldogs. But still on T2. Yellow, of course, has been air most of the game. Light Green, just on upgraded advanced vehicle plant, pumping out the Reapers. And Orange now going into advanced vehicles. So nothing too noteworthy on the northern side that we didn't already know, except that Light Blue is slowly moving to T3. Here in the south, it looks like Pink staying on T2, just pumping out these Merles, but also some Manticores. Like I said, he wants to prevent Light Blue from having control of this. Dark Green still on T2 as well. Red also on T2. It doesn't look like he's upgrading to T3. And Blue and Purple also on T2 and staying on T2. So the only player that we know of right now going to T3 is Light Blue. I don't know if I said Light Blue here. I meant Dark Blue. Dark Blue and Purple still on T2. But as I say that, Dark Blue will start an Ultra Vehicle plant. So he will be the second player attempting to get to the T3 phase of the game. And we will have to keep an eye on that, because T3 definitely does change things. It does change the flow of how everything happens, and it can certainly be a very game-changing type of event, depending on how it's used. But you know, right now, again, it's very even. Both teams posturing here and near the middle. Both plateaus under siege in their own way by guardians or merles. Little skirmishes breaking out, you know, left and right. But nothing... There is no game-ending force that I've seen yet. Neither team seems to have a trump card, if you will. So both teams are simply either upgrading their eco or building their forces or moving to T3 as light blue is very nearly there, reaching the ultra vehicle plant. And we'll have to see what he wants to do with it. So guys, with the ultra vehicle plant, there's for core, there's quite a few options. You can, of course, simply go into the Goliaths, which are just or excuse me, the Behemoths, which are just like upgraded Goliaths. You know, they're a good, well-rounded combination of health and damage and firepower. Just very, very, very good to spam, especially early on. But he could also go into something a little bit more crazy if he so pleases. He could go straight into some blazes, which it looks like he might do. Yeah, the blaze is the fast flamethrower scout vehicle for core, and these things are quite effective at raiding. They don't have as much health as most of the other T3 stuff, but they're great for raiding, especially if you have a small party of them. Looks like he's only building one, though. And then he'll immediately go into the Ultra Construction Vehicle. But like I was saying, he doesn't have to go into Behemoths. He can go into Mammoths. He could go into the Pounders. Hell, he could even go into the Overlord, though typically you want to wait on that. So, lots of options here. We'll have to see how Light Blue wants to pop this particular chestnut, or crack this particular nut. Like I said, just the single blaze. I don't expect a lot will be accomplished, except that he's revealing he's on T3, which I don't really agree with. I don't think the single blaze is worth revealing that you've reached T3, because now the whole southern team is going to know what's going on. But, you know, this blaze will get a little bit done, maybe a couple kills before being taken out. And, blue is still so far away from getting there, and his purple is super far away, so as of now, it looks like light blue the only player on T3, and how long it will remain that way we'll have to see, but the battle's continuing to shake out in the middle. Lots of merles and just sort of long-range artillery type stuff on the map now. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, guys. We'll keep an eye on we'll try to keep an eye on the battles in the middle, but we also want to keep an eye on what the players are doing back in their bases. We don't want to miss if somebody's going for some crazy unorthodox strategy that could completely change the game. But right now, purple is going for a very orthodox strategy, which is just building a bunch of pyros and sending them into the enemy base. And that could be a problem. The northern team is trying to react, but these merles are going to be very ill-equipped to deal with that. Now the brawler's coming in. There is no air defense to speak of, so it looks like these pyros should be cleaned up without too much of a too much of an investment on the northern team's part. They do lose a little bit, maybe a moho or two, but now we have some Lugers at the front taking out these stacked sentinels, and green is attempting to respond. Here's a tactical nuke coming in, killing a few bulldogs and harming all the rest of them. So the northern team is prepared for this, I think. There's a single annoying pyro that gets through, and wow, that one pyro could cause a lot of damage. But no, the brawlers will come in and clean that up before it can wreak havoc in green's base. But now, red, even after that tactical nuke, his bulldogs are still fairly healthy. Dark green with a few shooters to back those up. And once again, the brawlers will come in. There's a single phalanx in the mix here. Is that enough to kill all these brawlers? Well, the brawlers won't target it, so the phalanx is able to shoot them down with impunity. But now, light blue will be going into behemoths. But can he build behemoths fast enough to stop this? The shooters will be especially effective against this. However, brown also has the double barrel penetrators, an Escalation exclusive, and those will be very well positioned to take out the remaining forces of the southern team that have breached the left side there. But now, purple with these double barrel pyros. The second wave of pyros coming in. Can he do anything with it? The northern team definitely under pressure here. They've been under the assault of several waves now. Pyros, bulldogs, and shooters. So they're definitely on the defense, but the southern team is also just kind of sending in a lot of free metal. Man, look at all of Orange's Merles. Those are just absolutely devastating. Everything up on this plateau is being sent to the Shadow Realm. And how much can these pyros do? I mean, look, we have a few penetrators here. But pyros are pretty fast. If they can get on top of these penetrators, it may be enough to take out Brown's rather formidable army. Yellow scrambling to assist. These pyros are fast, but are they fast enough? Now a mammoth out on the field, and that is just going to chew through these pyros. So ultimately, yet another pyro assault that didn't seem to achieve a massive amount. I mean, look at all the metal on the ground. I mean, I think if the northern team can reclaim this area and then suck up these corpses, I think it'll be a very lucrative situation for them because of all these failed attacks. But the attack isn't over. Dark green's still causing some chaos with all the shooters and Merles. And the northern team definitely needs to recover if they can, and maybe even try to manage an assault of their own onto the southern team instead of just being on defense all the time. If they could apply some pressure. I mean, that's a lot of Merles, but they're just not great against much of anything but stationary targets, and the Merles will need a powerful front line to be able to push forward. So right now, Orange doesn't really have that support. There's a few Goliaths here, but those are going to evaporate pretty damn quickly, I think. So, yeah, once again, guys, the southern team definitely the aggressors. Dark green continuing to make a little bit of progress here. At the very least, they've killed a lot of their eco. A lot of these mexes are now no longer available to them. Looks like Walker has to leave, according to the chat. So that's a little bit unfortunate that Mr. Walker will be removed from the game unceremoniously. But such is life, I suppose. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. Real life things do emerge, my friends. People do have to leave. I know Walker has a family, so who knows what's going on, but either way, looks like he'll be giving his stuff to Dark Blue, it seems. And then it will become a 4v5. Another tactical nuke being fired into the action. This time targeting a lot of Dark Green's forces, and will take out some of them. But now this mammoth has made its way to the western plateau. Both of these plateaus have been utterly decimated. There's just nothing left on either of them. So neither team willing to let their opponents have all of this free eco. That is enough Merles to start some kind of club with a membership. My god, I don't think I've seen that many Merles in one place ever. But, like I said, the problem is the Merles are just, they can't do much unless they have a front line to support them. But yeah, here comes this mammoth. How much can the mammoth do? I actually don't know. It's unclear. A single mammoth, typically not too terrifying, though this one, it's got 21 kills. It's respectable, certainly respectable amount, but with all of these defenses and the forces streaming in, I mean, hell, Dark Green has his own mammoth. It's hard to believe this will achieve much else. The Merles now being moved to the edge of the plateau, raining down hell on Dark Blue and Purple's base from above. And he's got to be careful, though. The Zeuses and Pyros now have been activated. The swarm is moving. Those Merles are simply going to evaporate if they get caught or found. And it looks like Blue is ignoring them, but Purple, he's found them. This is just going to be a massacre, reminiscent of some of the historical atrocities that we all know. Is the total annihilation version of the Tiananmen Square. Just absolute there's no words. It's just disgusting. These poor Merles. They're gone. All of that investment, all of that potential is just sent to the abyss. It's gone. And those were some hungry Pyros. They burned those alive. So either way, guys, nice job by Orange, but ultimately those were mismanaged, and now these Pyros will be making their way into his defenses. Is there enough here? There's quite a few Guardians and some heavy laser towers. Is there enough Pyros to break through here? Dragon's Teeth might have helped to slow this down, because ultimately these Pyros will make it past the defenses, even though a lot of them are lost, and there's only about 5 left in the first group, now 4. So can 4 Pyros get anything done? I suppose we'll see. I think this is a different mammoth, but either way, yeah. Light Blue has found an avenue of approach through through that plateau, and now he's making it into Dark Green's base, which used to be Walker's base, but now that Walker has to leave, he might use his commander as a last-ditch hurrah. He's going to go out with a bang, and he will die, and the mammoth will survive, but not by much. It should ultimately be brought down, but lots of action happening all over the map. Walker will finally be kicked from the game officially, and yeah, man, there's some pretty interesting pushes on both sides. There's some raid attempts on both sides that are having decent effectiveness. I mean, Light Blue got all the way down here to Dark Green's base, really close to the production, and that could have been very devastating if it had made it any further. But Walker sacrifices his commander in order to stop that from happening, and then leaves the game. So we have officially reached the T3 stage. All the players, or most of the players, are going to be there now. It looks like there might be a single Big Bertha here on the ridge, attempting to take out some of Red's defenses and give Yellow the ability to push in with his army. Red now asking for help in the middle. His defense is certainly not enough to stop 3 Chimeras and everything else that is bearing down on his base now. So Yellow's certainly correct to ask for help from his teammates, but is there help forthcoming? I mean, it looks like the rest of his team is busy. Dark Green doing his best to push back Light Blue. But yellow has a lot, man. He's got 4 chimeras that we can see. He's got 3 double barrel penetrators, and he's got spiders. It's a pretty decent composition. I don't like that he's retreating though. I think yellow could just keep walking or keep driving his army into red's base. But these demolishers doing some work. They're definitely going to slowly cut down that T3 army over time. However, man, purple this entire game has just been building pyros and has done so much with it. I mean, it's amazing to me that purple has gotten away with so much with just these T2 units. A tactical nuke will hit these Talos, but man, purple, in addition to the pyros, now has a small contingent of Talos. And yellow will scramble with his brawlers to try and kill this, but can you kill it fast enough? It's a lot of brawlers, but Talos are pretty tanky. And yellow's not even paying attention now. He's focused on maybe this attack here in the middle. But either way, some pyros making it into light green's base. This Talos finally getting low, but is it enough? This other Talos is pretty healthy. But there's action happening all over the place. There's pushes happening on both sides that seem pretty successful. Brown with a terrifying army of double barrel penetrators. He might be able to do something with that as well. This Talos here in the northeast still at about half health. Can the brawlers kill it before it takes out anything important? It looks like they might just be able to. Man, if purple had brought any air defense at all, he would probably just end the game with this push. At the very least, he would end orange's game. Orange already in bad position. He's just in this tiny corner. That's all he has in the world. So, man, what a brawl. What a back and forth game. Both teams just, they relentlessly attacking from whatever position or opening they can make. 3 demolishers here, and these things, like I said, are very terrifying. 35 kills on that front one, 21 and 14. So yeah, the demolishers are kind of like super penetrators. Of course, they're very expensive and fragile. You don't want to have them too close to the front without support. But now yellow, with this, like I said, this impressive army that he's had, I wish he had just pushed with it a little earlier. I don't know if they could have stopped him if he had just committed to that push on red. Even with the demolishers, I don't know if he could. On the bright side, by attacking on the eastern front, the demolishers don't seem to exist over here. They're out of range of this, so yellow potentially finding a better avenue of approach for his chimeras. He's got 5, 6, and plenty of double barrel penetrators to boot, so blue is definitely in some serious trouble here. Red pushing forward with his demolishers, but again, these need support. This is not a frontline unit. It's not like a Krogoth. You can't just send them into the enemy base. They have to have something to tank for them generally, or even some air defense. You know, we've already seen the brawlers taking out the Talos, so. But right now, all of the action is happening here in the middle of the map with these chimeras slowly moving into blue's base, and he's got even more chimeras in the second wave. Blue is definitely in trouble. But oh my god, purple with yet another pyro push. Purple just making pyros look overpowered here. He has just used these like a scalpel, surgically picking apart orange's base slowly. I mean, it's not like it's all been, you know, over a short period of time. He's just slowly taken orange apart. Holy crap, man. Orange's base is just getting eviscerated. Now the Ultra K-Bot assembler in jeopardy. The fusion reactors, they will all go up in a massive puff of smoke. And the orange is essentially out of the game, even if his commander is alive. No, his commander is not alive. Orange is just officially dead, and now, green is on the chopping block. He is definitely next in line for purple's wrath. Man, what a game. It looks like yellow will finally be pushed back, but is it too little too late? Purple, with all of these pyros and talos, has already done significant damage, taking out an entire player. And now bright green, his commander, in jeopardy. He will be sniped by something. And oh, it says I'm out. Okay, anyway, either way, 2 players now gone, 2 players now eliminated, and so it is now a 4v3 because Walker left. The southern team has 4 players, but it's a 4v3 with dark green having 2 bases, and now he's working on an Avalon, so he's on T4, and also an Overlord. So dark green, his economy is simply massive at this point. He already has an Overlord out on the field. However, light blue also has his own Overlord, but it's already at about half health. It may die before it achieves too much. These demolishers are focusing it down quite effectively. It is losing health rapidly. This Overlord is going to die. So now dark green with an Overlord and these 3 demolishers moving up the map. Another tactical nuke coming down, but guys, tactical nukes don't do much against T3 units most of the time. T3 units are hardy enough to withstand most of the damage. Jammin was already killed, so we'll kick him from the game. But certainly the southern team, with all the momentum here, they've already taken out 2 players. These demolishers, like I said, I don't like the way they're being used. They're just being kind of sent in almost as fodder. But either way, it may not matter in this position where 2 of the bases of the northern team have been completely destroyed, and now we're just in a situation where yeah, it's not looking good. It's definitely not feeling wonderful if you're the northern team. They are working on the experimental unit foundry, but unfortunately the T4 is already happening on the southern side, and an Avalon is almost completed. So I don't really think of that as a particularly great situation, trying to get to T4, but probably way too late for that to actually pay off. The northern team is, well, to say that they're in trouble is the understatement of the year. Purple sending more and more and more pyros. But I think brown will have enough to stop this. But ultimately, I don't know. I mean, if the northern team were able to win this, it would be one of the most epic comebacks I've ever casted for sure. I mean, it looks dire for them. It looks unwinnable. But it's not unwinnable. But it does look that way. It certainly feels very hopeless. Light blue finally working on a Titan, but he's just started it, and this thing takes a lifetime to complete. It also requires a ton of resources, which he doesn't have. Well, I mean, I guess we can't really see what his resources are, but it doesn't feel like he's going to have enough to keep that thing being built, you know, keep his resources from stalling. And meanwhile, the Avalon just now finishing, and I have a feeling that Avalon is probably going to reach the other side of the map before that Titan is even completed. No, he's doing a decent job. I mean, maybe he has more resources than I gave him credit for. He's got some mantle extractors. He's got some vaults. Maybe his teammates are supplying him with some extra eco. Either way, that Titan is going to have to do a ton of work because the southern team now moving in with T4 themselves. Purple continuing to be a nuisance. He now has a Krogoth on the field. A single Krogoth, which can be a huge headache. But of course, with these demolishers, they are going to chunk that thing down quicker than you can blink. Holy cow, this Krogoth is melting. So man, demolishers are such an effective counter to these massive T3.5 units, and that Krogoth will absolutely disappear. However, there's another Krogoth here in the north. northeast, and it will also go down. So nice defense by the northern team. But will it matter? They're still under a relentless assault. A third Krogoth. Man, purple has just done such a great job this game of spreading, sort of moving his forces in such a way that he attacks from multiple avenues. He's never attacking from just one place. He's always trying to find your weak spot, creating diversions, creating too many fires for the enemy team to put out. But now a Centaur, the Super Fido, the T4 Super Fido for ARM, has made it onto the field, but with these demolishers, it may still die before it can really get into the heart of the northern team's base. It's already at about a third HP, getting lower and lower, but it is taking out demolishers, so not a complete waste. It's definitely dealt some serious damage before it did die. But now this Avalon slowly making its path forward. And will the Titan complete in time? So it looks like the Titan will finish before the Avalon makes it into Light Blue's base, but yeah, well, I don't think I've ever seen Avalon versus Titan battle, so that I think we're all going to witness that together and kind of have a new experience. That could certainly be interesting. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not discounting the possibility that this Avalon could absolutely end the game or be stopped by the Titan. A lot of it does depend on the micro. It's like how the players want to use it, what kind of support they have. For example, these brawlers could certainly make a difference if there's no air defense. And it doesn't look like there's a ton of air defense here on the northern team. But there's also a Centaur, so yeah, like I said, a lot of this has to do with how the engagement plays out. Centaur versus Titan. Oh my god, that Titan is an absolute beast of a monster. Holy cow. Okay, now the Avalon and the Centaur targeting it. It's getting 2v1'd. It's not really a fair matchup. I think it's gonna maybe target down the Centaur and maybe kill that in time, but the Centaur will go down, but now the Titan is in trouble. The Avalon now focusing its guns on the Titan. Holy cow, what a battle this has been. And ultimately, that Titan will die. The Avalon will be a little bit below half health. Guys, I think if the Centaur had not been there, that would have been really close. I mean, the Avalon may have even lost. It would have been close, but that was insane. I've never seen that before. What a battle. What a fight. What a brawl this has been. And this Avalon, though, will claim victory. It will emerge victorious from that 1v1. Well, it wasn't really a 1v1 with a Titan. If it had been a 1v1, I think, like I said, it might have even lost. But either way, the Centaur making all the difference in that fight. But the northern team, despite being behind, I mean, they are valiantly holding on. They are valiantly keeping the dream alive. Like I said, it looks over, but it's not over. Never give up until the end. You don't know what can happen in these escalation games. It is always possible to come back from the brink of destruction. So, gonna keep our eyes on what's going on here and see if the northern team has anything they can do, any Hail Mary that they could pull out of a hat to possibly give themselves the leg up they need, or the miracle that they need to pull this game back from just basically snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Another Titan. We saw that the first Titan was able to get that Avalon to half health, so maybe the second Titan can do it. Unfortunately, the Avalon is going to have veterancy now, so it will be quite a bit stronger than it was before. But I think the Titan, it will finish it off. the Avalon goes down, the Titan surviving with about half HP. Another Centaur making its way to the north. But man, light blue's Titans are really keeping them in this game. I don't think I've ever seen an Avalon destroyed like that. The Avalon is certainly a game ender. It's how they're designed, but unfortunately, I just don't know if this Titan, I don't know if it's going to be enough to actually attack. I mean, it's one thing to defend, and he has killed quite a few targets, but unfortunately, he's got quite a lot between him and the southern team's base, including another Avalon, and bastions and shields and wardens and God knows what else. So as much as this Titan has done, it's hard for me to believe that this thing is even going to get close to Dark Green's base before it is unceremoniously removed from the game. And we will see the fall of that mighty God Killer. And it certainly is a God Killer, this Titan. Just absolute legend. Let's see how many kills he's got. 42 kills already. Such a beast. Such a monster. Centaur doesn't even want any of that. Now blue attempting with some hammers. Guys, I think we're at the phase of the game where hammers aren't going to do much, so I would encourage blue to build something else. But either way, this Titan will be retreated. Maybe he could repair it. It's possible that light blue could repair it and have 2 Titans. And maybe with 2 full health Titans, and if he finds the right avenue of approach, finds the right opportunity, yeah, he will. It looks like he will be repairing it. But as for how long that will take, we'll have to see. It's not quick. The Titans have a ton of HP, so that could take months, essentially, to get that thing back to full HP. It looks like it's going decently fast. I can't tell how many construction aircraft are in there, but either way, he will get it up a little bit, but then he retreats to try and reclaim the wreckage. 65,000 metal worth of wreckage for that Avalon. But now a second Avalon has made it here, and this Titan looks like it is full health. That it repaired way faster than I thought. And this, because this Titan has veterancy, it's going to be a very lopsided fight. This Avalon will go down without much of a challenge. Even the Titan only losing about 1/3 of its health. These wardens are basically worthless against the Titan because it can't be paralyzed. And now the Titan against a Centaur. That was really cool, but the Centaur being deleted in mere moments. The Titan now retreating, but can light blue repair it again? Could light blue repair that Titan a second time? And then he would have 2 full health Titans. And could the northern team even have like a hope or a dream or some kind of impossible chance, some miracle that there's a way back into this game, even though they were down 2 players, essentially. They lost the east side of the map almost completely, and they have just simply been on defense. They've been playing a tower defense for the last 30 minutes at least, maybe more. So if they could pull this back, I mean, what a story for the history books that would be. That would just be like nothing I have ever casted. I mean, holy cow. Red building an Olympus, which is like a massive T4 Bertha. Interestingly, light blue will not he will not keep his Titans together. He's going to send this Titan alone. I think I would have preferred if he had repaired the other one and then sent them as a team. I think 2 Titans are better than 1. Definitely force multiplier. Single Titan, though, might be able to get something done. I mean, this is impressive. It doesn't look like the southern team is ready for this. All these wardens essentially useless against it. It can't be paralyzed. taking out the overlords. Where is the defense? Red working on an Olympus, but holy cow, man! This Titan it's getting a lot done. And then the second Titan, the legend that has never died, making his way too. Oh my god! Oh my god! He's actually made it to the production. Dark Green's commander is there. Holy cow! Perfect Dark is killed. Perfect Dark will explode. A Titan will die. I think maybe he had D-gunned to the Titan, but either way, Dark Green had 2 bases worth of stuff. Dark Green was basically 2 players. The Southern team is down 2 players, and we're now in a situation where either team could win. Like, this game has gone from being completely unwinnable to anybody's bet. It's impossible to say who could win now. Red's still working on the Olympus, and I mean, guys, this is a game ender as well. I mean, this thing can fire nukes, essentially, from across the map, but they're nukes that can't be stopped. They can't be countered. And now Purple with his own Titan and a Krogoth. Of course, the Krogoth is not, I think, going to live very long to tell the tale, but the Titan certainly going to give this 2 Titans now against 1. I think we've seen the end of this this hero god that took out Dark Green's base, took out 2 players essentially. So what a hero and legend that was, but now can the Northern team pull this somehow out of a hat? Is there any way? Or does the Southern team have something up their sleeve to simply end the game, which so far they've been, obviously, completely unable or unwilling to do? This Olympus, like I said, I don't think guys, I've been casting this game for years. I don't think I've actually seen an Olympus in a game. Maybe one was built at the end or something, but it didn't do anything. Like, I have not seen an Olympus actually built in a real situation where it mattered, okay? This might be the first game where we get to see the power of this T4, basically nuke launcher, nuking the enemy team's base from the other side of the fricking map. I mean, what a show that would be if this thing just started nuking any of these bases. I mean, Brown's base. Oh my god, this would be a juicy targets right here. Just, you can get the chain reactions, any of this stuff. Can he do it? I mean, the Olympus is almost there. Holy cow, guys! I've never seen a game like this. I don't think I've ever cast a game where there was just like multiple Avalons, multiple Titans. We've got an Olympus that's almost finished. Like the Northern team somehow just basically pulling things out of their ass. There's just no way that the Northern team should still be in this game. And oh my god, now we see a core. Now we see a core. The ultimate T4 monster. And I think this should even make the Titans look pretty weak by comparison. I guess we'll see, as this is not a situation I've ever casted. Core versus Titan. Well, I don't know. The Titan, it's pretty even, and with this Krogoth, oh my god, it is very even. Both of these mechs at about the same HP. Holy cow, man! It could not be closer. I think that Krogoth is definitely making the difference here. So the core will just win, but the Krogoth should be enough to finish it. Wow. Wow, that was nuts. So even the mighty core falling, achieving almost nothing, as this game just continues to deliver endless action. Now the Olympus is finally finished, and let's keep an eye on it, guys. It doesn't fire very quickly, but when it fires, it is quite spectacular if it can hit its targets. I don't know how accurate these things are, guys. Like I said, I've never seen one in an actual game. I think the only time I've ever really seen one is when I tested it in single player and just build it to sort of see what it does. But can the core do anything this game. I mean, can it be the difference maker? It doesn't look like it's... It looks like it's kind of stuck, but it'll finally drive out of the bays here. But I want to keep an eye on it and see if red finds some juicy targets for this massive treaded cannon. And we do see that I saw some auroras earlier, but I don't know if those have actually been used at all, or if blue is trying to make like a massive game-ending air force or something. Finally, the Olympus turning its massive cannon to the north and hopefully targeting yellow's base. There's some juicy targets up there. I'm going to try to keep an eye on this thing. Oh my god, it just takes forever. Does red even have the energy to fire this bad boy? I mean, it requires so much energy to fire. I wouldn't be surprised if red couldn't even afford it. Can't even afford to fire this massive game ender. That is so sad, guys. It's so sad to see this Olympus being built and not even used yet. Not even able to unleash its payload. But Brown has a massive amount of demolishers here. I mean, that's going to stop most attacks in their tracks. Oh my god, the Necro's coming out. We're going to try to resurrect this Avalon. Maybe resurrect everything else too if they can. Man, it's so sad this Olympus is not firing. Let's see how much... It should say how much energy. 750,000 energy per shot. So, you know, we can't see the resources. Well, no, we can. Okay. Red doesn't even have the energy storage to do this, guys. Even with all these forges. He's got 4 forges that we can see. He's got some heavy fusion reactors. He can't afford to fire it. He's working on it, right? He's slowly building more storage, but guys, he can't even freaking fire this thing. It requires so much energy. Holy cow. Like, this thing is just ridiculous. Okay, he's finally got it. He's finally got the storage. He should be able to fire it. He's got to pick a target. Oh my god. Please, red. Please. Just fire it. Fire this massive cannon. Give us a show. We are all waiting for something. And I don't know why it's not... Okay, it finally fires. Here we go. Oh my god, dude, that was awesome! That was awesome! Holy fucking cow, that was... What the fuck? Oh. Oh. I've never witnessed something like that. What the fuck? That was awesome! Oh my god, the northern team gives up. He just dropped the nuke on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They're fucking done. They're done. Dude, that's all it took. That's all it took was just... it took him forever to even get the energy to fire this thing. It's like, I don't even know what he's firing at now, but it was just a nuke. It just took... Oh my god. That's not fair. What a game ender. What a game ender. What a satisfying conclusion to this game. Wow. Guys, I didn't even expect that. I knew it was going to be impressive, but like... I wasn't even sure red was going to be able to fire it. Either way, guys. What a game. What a conclusion. The northern team was this close to coming back. Like, it was anyone's game. Even Red saying in the chat he's never been able to produce one of these in an actual game. And who can blame him? God only knows how much it costs. Wow. So guys, thank you very much for watching. What a show this was. I don't think I've ever cast a game with that much T4. Certainly I've never cast a game with an active Olympus. So, thank you all very much for watching. I hope to cast some more videos in the near future. And I suppose I will see you all in the next cast.